Continuing its tough approach on China, the United States of America is moving its aircraft carrier USS Nimitz and its Courier Strike Group to the Indo-Pacific region. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered the aircraft carrier to move to the Indo-Pacific region, signaling that countering China will be a major focus for the Biden administration in Washington. A step to increase its presence in the South China Sea region, Biden has also reaffirmed its commitment to Taipei, signaling that it will continue Trump's policy with Taiwan. The aircraft carrier has been pulled out of U.S. military's Central Command in the Middle East, which is being seen as a sign of potentially easing tensions between the United States and Iran. The U.S. State Department had said that the Biden administration wants to be in lockstep with allies and partners
Amid ongoing tensions surrounding calls to release Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny, the U.S. and Russia have officially extended a crucial nuclear arms control treaty until 2026. The nuclear pact between the two countries limits the number of strategic nuclear warheads and bombers that each country can deploy.
Yes, Mogyon, the extended treaty that will last for 5 more years is the New Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, or the New START. Washington Secretary of State Antony Blinken officially announced the extension on Wednesday and said it would make the U.S., their partners, and the world safer. The treaty was the last remaining deal regulating the world's 2 largest nuclear arsenals and was set to expire on Friday. The pact was renewed with no change or supplements to the original agreement signed in 2010 under Barack Obama's administration.
Russia is accusing the West of descending into hysteria over the jailing of opposition politician Alexei Navalny. The Kremlin also says police had been right to use force to break up protests over his imprisonment. On Tuesday, a Moscow court sentenced the prominent critic of President Vladimir Putin to 3.5 years for parole violations. Navalny says the charges are trumped up to sideline him. His supporters had tried to gather to show support during the ruling and then took to the streets afterwards to protest. Russian authorities shut down some central metro stations and detained more than 1,400 people. Meanwhile, the German government has said it's not ruling out further sanctions against Russia over the verdict.
Arrests in East Africa tying Iran to a terror plot. An Israeli media report says Iran sent agents to scout out potential sites for terror attacks against embassies abroad, against Israel, the U.S., and even the United Arab Emirates. Just Monday, Iran's Foreign Minister Zarif spoke to CNN, saying, "I believe they are risking their security. They won't get any security from Israel. They are risking their security by bringing Israel into the regional security equation." Some interpret this as a potential threat.
Now that the Emiratis are declared friends of Israel, and now that Israel also has friends that are almost on the border with Iran, it means that they're on the line of fire too.
A May deadline is fast approaching for the U.S. to withdraw all troops from Afghanistan, but a bipartisan report delivered to Congress on Wednesday says that would be too early. The U.S. agreed to pull its troops from Afghanistan by May 1st in a 2020 agreement with the Taliban. However, the Afghanistan Study Group says a military drawback should be contingent on peace talks. U.S. officials say the Taliban has maintained ties with al-Qaeda and talks have stalled. The Taliban denies the affiliation and has threatened to resume attacks on foreign forces if they remain in Afghanistan past the May 1st deadline. This new report, however, warns withdrawing all U.S. troops could lead to civil war, destabilize the region, and reinvigorate al-Qaeda.
The
the Proud Boys, the group that Donald Trump told to stand by, the far-right, male-only group that was a major part in the insurrection at the deadly U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. last month, it has been designated as a banned terrorist organization by Canada. Canada has become the first country to ban the Proud Boys group. Its government described the far-right group as a serious and growing threat that engages in political violence. The Canadian government described the members of the neo-fascist group as embrace misogynistic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic and white supremacist ideologies. Founded in 2016 by Canadian-British right-wing activist Gavin McInnes, the Proud Boys is a far-right, anti-immigrant, all-male group with a history of street violence against its less left-wing opponents.
Only a few hours after Israeli forces demolished their homes, these Palestinians are rebuilding them. Homs al-Fouqa village in the northern Jordan Valley in the occupied West Bank has been home to dozens of Palestinians who've lived here for decades. Israel declared the area as a military training zone in the 1980s and has been demolishing structures here ever since.
After we rebuild, they come back, take pictures and demolish the village again. We are tired and haven't slept.
3 months ago, Israeli forces razed the whole village. On Wednesday, they came back and demolished what has been rebuilt.
Now, 10 troops were killed in Mali's troubled central region on Wednesday, where their camp came under attack. Sources say the troops came under attacks from jihadists. According to sources, the troops were in a camp located in Ruensa and Hombori in the Mopti region. It was attacked by heavily armed individuals. Today, a propaganda outlet close to Al-Qaeda claimed that the attack was carried out by the group to support Islam and Muslims. The security source said that the assailants had made off with lots of equipment from the camp. A video unveiled by the French Foreign Intelligence Agency DGSC shows that France and French intelligence present at the Al-Qaeda leaders in the Sahel meeting in February 2020 in central Mali.
What comes next for the world's richest man? Jeff Bezos founded Amazon in a Washington garage in 1994 and built it into a behemoth that has upended the business of buying and selling goods. The 57-year-old has become one of the most respected and feared business leaders in the world, and the richest with a net worth of almost $200 billion. By stepping back, he'll find time to focus on his other projects, such as the Washington Post, which he bought in 2013 for $250 million. Or his rocket company, Blue Origin. Bezos has invested heavily in this business, but is lagging behind rival tech boss Elon Musk's SpaceX.
New Zealand on Thursday announced a new public holiday which will celebrate the country's Maori people. It's called Matariki, a celebration of the Maori New Year marked by the appearance of a star cluster known as the Pleiades. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who had pledged to establish the public holiday during her re-election campaign, made the announcement on Thursday.
This is not just about a public holiday, it is a teaching moment. A chance to learn about something that is uniquely Maori. A chance to learn around navigational history. And we will begin doing that from the year 2022. And I can share for the first time today that the first celebration of Matariki, after much advice from our advisory committee, will be on the 24th of June, 2022.